Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. Can we make you cluck like a chicken? This and separating fact from fiction in order to use hypnosis to just go from goal setting into goal getting. So I have some experts with me today on Ask the Expert. And Eric, introduce yourself.
My name is Eric Kendall Banks. I am a certified consulting hypnotist, and my niche is working with other attorneys to help their clients and witnesses become better public speakers.
Oh, excellent. And then I also have the lovely and talented Drew. Introduce yourself.
I'm Drew Ferguson. I am a certified hypnotist. I'm also a certified hypnosis instructor, along with my partner, Dawn. We teach the certification program. So if you want to become a hypnotist, talk to us.
And I am Dawn Ferguson, for those of you that are familiar with the Stop the Self-Sabotage podcast. You hear me come in to help you better your life, break through those bad beliefs almost every single day, as long as I'm moving forward in the way that will serve you the very best in getting those podcast recordings out. And once a month, we have select members of the National Guild of Hypnotists come together and share the wisdom that you need to know to assist you in becoming your very best. We're all certified hypnotists, and the people that are on this presentation, such as Eric, Angie's not here this month. She's out on vacation. Have a good time, Angie. But this is not just open to anybody. They have to be invited because of what they're bringing you. And the very first thing that we're going to be talking about is some of the myths around hypnosis, and then what it is and isn't. Eric's going to guide us through some of the questions. But the very first one that we want to tackle is, can we make you do anything you do not want to do, like cluck like a chicken? So, Eric, what are you going to share with everybody as far as, can we use this as mind control?
The textbook answer is no. While there may be exceptions for everything, historically, there's no recorded facts about somebody being manipulated in that fashion. However, having attended a 3-day hypnosis conference in Las Vegas over the weekend, I did have a 4-hour presentation by Chase Hughes, the author of the Ellipsis Manual. And Chase was a professional interrogator for 20 years with the Navy, dealing with a lot of terrorists and enemies of the state. He said that you can engage in mind control if somebody's movement is limited, i.e. a prisoner, also known as brainwashing, such as the Manchurian Candidate. But of course, we as hypnotists do not limit people's movements. So if they were in a session and thought that they were being held against their will, they would just snap out of it and leave, probably without even paying us.
Gosh darn it. That's what I tell people, is if it really were mind control, I would already be rich and retired. Because I would have convinced somebody to give me all of their money, and I wouldn't have to be doing this.
So, and if Drew, there was mind control, I'd still be married.
Well, and the only thing I can add to that is, Eric, for some reason, she keeps buying insurance on me. Big policies too. Yeah.
So, Drew, do you have anything that you want to add to it as far as it being mind control?
I think I just did, but there is a potential for mind manipulation, but that can only occur under extreme negative, stressful situations. The one that comes to mind is some of our enemies in the Second World War and the Korean War used extreme measures of torture to create a mind control, quote unquote, situation to extract information out of our service people, their prisoners.
Yes. Yes. And hypnosis, it starts off with relaxation. So we're not going to have any torture there. Now,
right.
I want to share something that I did have happen that was interesting. See, we cannot make anybody do anything against their values. And when someone comes to work with us, they're valuing breaking free of the bad beliefs that have held them back, because they've already been under somebody's mind control before they had the capabilities to reject those suggestions. And now they're sabotaging themselves to help them deal with life because they took on suggestions that were less than beneficial, such as when I'm overwhelmed and I'm stressed, I need to go eat to feel better. Okay. I had someone reach out to me, and he was a bodybuilder. He was taking steroids, and he was in the competitions. Every competition, he had to sign a piece of paper that says, I'm not taking any steroids. They no longer believed him, and they wanted to do a lie detector test to see if he was taking steroids. And so he reached out to me and he asked, can you hypnotize me to pass the lie detector test? Now, here's where it gets interesting. He values lying. So could hypnosis been of some partial benefit in that area? It might have been. And then this is where it gets really interesting, because I lied to the liar and said, no, hypnosis can't help you with this. So hypnosis can only help you move into harmony with the values that you have. Right now, you've got some agreements with some bad beliefs that need to be broken and then rewritten, but hypnosis cannot be used to control you. Eric and Drew, as you've said, that is actually brainwashing. It requires some sort of torture and limited physical movement, confining someone. Okay. So, Eric, what's one of the other questions that we typically get from people on hypnosis?
Well, can anybody be hypnotized? And once again, one of the things that they teach you in law school is the majority opinion as well as the minority opinion. There's always two opinions, minimum. You always have dissenters. Nobody's going to be in perfect agreement. But the majority opinion is everybody can be hypnotized, although there is a spectrum of hypnotizability, if that's a word.
It is.
The very, very, restrained. It is very difficult for me to be hypnotized, which is a bad thing for hypnotists to admit to. However, I've said in public before, Drew has been one of the few people who have hypnotized me. So I know that I can be hypnotized. It's just that I don't always allow myself to be sufficiently relaxed to let it happen. But there are 10% of the people are remarkably compliant and able to receive suggestions. Those are the people who are usually selected to be in stage shows. And those are the people who are usually allowed to remain on the stage, because if the stage hypnotist doesn't think that somebody is deep enough, they'll politely say, thank you for your help, you can now enjoy the rest of the program from the audience as opposed to being on the stage. So yes, everybody can be hypnotized, even though some can be hypnotized easier than others.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you brought up a good term, hypnotizability. Hypnotizability simply means the ability to accept a suggestion. That's all hypnosis is a hyper suggestible state. That's it.
Yep.
And so we want to look at when are we in this states of accepting suggestions. And every time we go into a feeling state, every time we go into an emotional state,
Yeah.
we're open to suggestions. Now, the suggestions have to be in alignment with the emotion that we're feeling, which is the reason why if somebody's upset, you can't go up to them and go, it'll be all right. Just go ahead and calm down. They're not going to accept those suggestions because they're all worked up. Instead, they're going to be like, well, let me just tell you about calming down. And then they're going to rain all over your parade. So if somebody's upset, they are hypersuggestible about being upset. And that's when we can look at someone and go, wow, if I were in your shoes, I'd probably be upset too. And now we're making them open to accepting suggestions from us because we're in the same place. We're already developing a rapport. Now, as you said, Eric, we usually use relaxation to open somebody up to accept suggestions because it would be so much easier to relax into success than it would be to fight it, which is the reason why most hypnotists start off with a body scan to relax us. But it doesn't always have to be that way. There are some clients where they're what's known as digital thinkers. Their minds are going all the time and they're not going to relax because that's not how they have their edge in life. So if you're going to be working with someone like that, or if whoever's listening to us is like, yeah, I think I'm a digital thinker, then you want to have what's known as a confusion induction, which gives your mind and all the different channels that it runs on all the different bunnies to chase. And now because you're going, okay, what about this? And what about that? Oh, and then there's this too. Then you're open to accepting those suggestions that go, oh, what about this? I can make this better. And what about that? Oh, I could have that happen too. And then this over here. Yeah, maybe I want to work on that. And we actually use the best parts of you to open you up for the suggestions that are going to go along with your values. Drew, have anything that you want to add to that?
No, you pretty much covered it.
What's the next thing that we're covering, Eric? Oh, Eric, wait.
You lost your volume.
Volume went away.
Sorry about that. How about have we all been hypnotized? And the answer is yes. And historically, some of the examples we give include, have you ever gone to the movie and not been laughing, perhaps, or not been crying? But while you sit in that theater enjoying your popcorn and your Coca-Cola or your Pepsi, there is something that happens on that screen that alters your state. And it may cause you to smile, it may cause you to laugh, it may cause you to cry. Well, you realize that you're in a movie theater, you're in complete control. You could get up and use the restroom if you were so inclined. But you suspend your disbelief, you allow your critical factor to be put on the back seat so that you can enjoy the movie and realize that you're allowing your state, your trance state, to change. And that's an example of hypnosis. Same thing reading a good book where you get lost in time and you forget about everything except that book until an hour elapses. So yes, we have all been hypnotized, even if we may choose to call it something else.
Okay.
We should probably cover a couple of real quick facts. Brainwave ways. Hypnosis is what's referred to as an alpha brainwave state. And it's a naturally occurring brainwave state that we go into and out of many, many times in our day. It's the daydreaming state. It's the mind wandering state. Okay, so we all have experienced that. So it's important to understand that you're already doing it.
Yes, we've already all experienced it. And so that means we need to become aware of when we go into those naturally occurring states, because we're open to suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
And are we taking on the suggestions from our environment that are actually going to benefit us or that are going to hold us back? So if you're really engaged in that book and maybe in the background you got the news going on, well, now the mind can be going, yes, not only will we get lost in the drama and the mystery of this really good love story, but now let's get lost in the drama and mystery of the news and the media and everything that they're portraying and all the problems that it's going to cause us. And once the mind looks to get those emotional hits, it wants to have more of them. And so you may find all of a sudden that you're attracted to becoming a media junkie instead of buying dozens of books. And Eric, we won't bring up those types of habits and patterns because I get to benefit by getting the books that you're done with. But instead of, going for that book that we feel like is going to empower us, what we wind up getting addicted to the drama, crisis, confusion, and chaos on media. And it's the same way scrolling through your social media feed. And the people who design the programs for social media understand this. There's an excellent book out there called Hooked, and it talks about the artificial intelligence that they use to hook your subconscious to always go, what's next, what's next, what's next. Unfortunately, it also can wind up dumbing you down that you don't follow through because you're always looking for the next thing instead of completing what you've got going on. So look at when you are open to suggestions. Okay, Eric, what's next?
Well, do you have to be, what's the politically correct word, educationally deprived in order to be a good recipient of the hypnosis process? And of course, the answer is no. Historically, anybody, 95% of the people can be hypnotized if they're not, one, a schizophrenic, and two, if they're older than 4 years of age. And usually the smarter, more creative individuals make the best partners in hypnosis because they're used to thinking outside of the box, which one makes them creative. And they're willing to accept new ideas. And because so much of hypnosis is one's imagination, smart people usually have good imaginations. And you would almost think that certain people, because of their professions, which some people might consider to be stodgy, I wouldn't, but some people might, like engineers or nuclear physicists or computer programmers, you would almost think that somebody who is that process oriented would not be good in terms of working with as a partner in hypnosis. But it's just the opposite, because they're used to solving problems. So if I'm a nuclear physicist that needs to solve a problem, then I can translate those same skills to whatever challenges and opportunities I want to deal with in my own life.
Yes, that's it. Drew, what do you want to add on with that?
No, it's pretty well covered.
So Eric, you said you were trying to be politically correct, and the people who listen to my podcast know that is so not me. And so we think people have to be stupid to be hypnotized. They have to be gullible. So your IQ, as Eric already said, doesn't have anything to do with it. Instead, it's how you use your imagination to either move you forward or to keep you stuck and struggling. Because I don't know about you, but I've had a discussion with somebody, and then I left. And later on, maybe that night or the next morning when I'm in the shower, I come up with all the witty comebacks I could have said. Oh man, Adam, what about this? And what about that? We're using our imagination when we do that. And there is something known as borrowing trouble, which when you look at a conversation that did not go well, you can plan how you would handle it the next time for a better outcome. So borrowing trouble is saying go to a future event, see how it might fall apart, and then be prepared to be able to move it forward. And again, that's using your imagination. But if you keep going over the same old problem, like, oh, I'll say this and I'll say that, then you've turned on the part of your mind known as the reticular activating system. I like to call her RAS, Miss RAS. And that it's her job to find everything in the environment to support our emotionally dominant thoughts. So, okay, if we're always looking at a problem, then she's going to find more problems for us to solve. And so that has nothing to do with being gullible. Gullible is when you decide to supersede your common sense and fall for stupid things. That get rich quick scheme. All you needed to do was get 10 friends to buy from you every single month. I know, I did it. Okay.
There's something else that comes up. We as hypnosis operators run into from time to time, and that's the person who says, "I can't be hypnotized." And you know what the proper response to that is? You're right, and walk away. Okay, I mean it's that simple. It's like trying to teach a pig how to sing. You know, it's frustrating and aggravating, and it only annoys the pig. You know, just walk away.
Because they have the value that they have to prove that they're right at all costs.
Correct.
I've had people, I don't know about you, Eric. I know Drew and I have had people where they're like, I'm a hot mess and I don't think I can be fixed. And I'm like, do you want to stay a hot mess and not be able to be fixed? Well, no. I'm like, well, then, okay, you don't need to be fixed. You're not flawed. You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. We need to find the parts of you that are magnificent to be able to pull you forward. That's what we're focusing on using hypnosis, bringing out your strengths, talents, and abilities. Because if you keep looking for problems, you will find problems to solve. If you keep looking for ways to be challenged, to be magnificent, then Miss Raz will find all the ways for you to be challenged and magnificent.
That's right.
I think it was Henry Ford, although I'm sure he got it from somebody else because there's nothing new under the sun. But his attitude was, I can wake up in the morning and before I get out of bed, I can say it's going to be a good day or it's going to be a bad day. Either way, I'm going to be right. And in terms of the question, can you be hypnotized? I always start a session the same way. I don't care if it's practicing at a conference. I don't care if it's somebody in my hypnosis studio and we're doing it for real. The first time I work with anybody, I say, do you believe in hypnosis? Do you want to be hypnotized? Do you think that I can hypnotize you? If they answer any one of those three questions with the word no, then I say thank you, but no thank you, very politely. On the other hand, if they answer all three of those questions correctly, then they're going to be hypnotized. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, if for no other reason, because of confirmation bias. You've already said you believe I can hypnotize you. So you're not going to allow yourself to be proven wrong. You will allow yourself to slip into hypnosis voluntarily.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought up that confirmation bias, because that means going along with what we value. And if you want to make life hard, you can make life hard. If you want to find ways to maybe make it a little easier, you'll find those ways. We're here to help you, as Eric and Drew have been saying, to be able to move into this state in a way that you're going to accept the suggestions that are going to bring you out at your best. Okay. Eric, is there any other questions that we need to cover?
Well, the last one, and Drew has already touched on this, is it sleep? And of course, the answer is no. As my trainer told me, if you're hypnotized, you're not asleep. If you're asleep, you're not hypnotized. As Drew said, that it's the alpha level. Right now, we're presumably operating in the beta level because we're wide awake. So the purpose of hypnosis is just to get somebody to relax so that they can enter into the alpha level, but we don't want them to drift into the theta level because that's sleep, and we certainly don't want them to drift into the delta level, especially during these times, that unfortunate word, because that is deep sleep, and the person's not going to hear you in deep sleep. We learned in the 50s that the idea of sleep learning is a myth. It does not work, even with the greatest powers of expectation and suggestibility. So you have to get the person in the alpha level, which is at never, never land between where we are now, beta, and where we hope to be this evening, theta, as we go to bed and go to sleep.
Yes. So some clients think that if they don't have the sensation that they've been asleep, the session didn't work. And then others will say afterwards, I didn't hear your voice. Does that mean that it didn't work? Because they felt like they went really deep. So we use something known as Aaron's depth scale. And Aaron's depth scale says that there's 6 levels to hypnosis. Now, the common myth out there is that the deeper you go, the better the session works. And that's incorrect. It's, are you going to the level that is appropriate for the suggestions you want to accept? So, for example, a level 1 is simple behavioral modification. And we've all experienced a level 1. It's whenever you zone out while you're performing an activity. You're driving the car and you're thinking about maybe meeting up with some friends this weekend, and what are you going to fix for dinner, and you got the water bill that you need to pay. That's a level 1. So be careful what's playing on the radio, because you are open to suggestion. Then you've got a level 2, which is going to be emotional optimization. This is a light daydreaming state where you feel a little bit more relaxed. And then we teach you how to experience those emotions, how to be able to turn on that relaxation so you can feel calm and confident no matter what's going on around you. A level 3 is going to be the belief level. This is whenever we're getting into what's known as pseudo regressions, observable regressions, going back in time when your mind first accepted that belief and then giving it new options on what it's going to accept. A level 4 is when we start getting into being able to numb out parts of the body. So painless childbirth, if you want to experience that, you need to be taught how to take yourself to a level 4 so you can feel pressure but no pain with contractions. And then a level 5 and a level 6 is typically used in stage shows because you are now immersed into the fantasy experience that you're being told, that being suggested by like the stage show hypnotist. And a level 6 is also when you can see surgery without anesthesia. Over in the UK, they will do knee replacement. They will do brain surgery just using the hypnosis. So are you going to the level that's appropriate for your end results is what your certified hypnotist or consulting hypnotist who's partnering with you on this should be ascertaining during your session. If you go deeper, that's great. Because it feels better, but it doesn't mean the session is more effective. Okay, so as we begin to wrap up, Eric, what's the one thing that you think clients need to know for the month of August in order to move forward into their success? What's the one suggestion that you want to give them?
The suggestion is to realize that we're all in a state of trance. We're all in hypnosis. You're either hypnotizing yourself or somebody's hypnotizing you. I encourage us to hypnotize ourselves and realize that what we think about all of the time, we become. So if we believe that we are very intelligent, very nice, very accomplished individuals, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If that is our mental programming, we have no choice but to become those things. So that's what I recommend we focus on in August.
All right.
Yep.
Drew, what's your tip for the month?
All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. We are guides. We're facilitators. We help set the stage for you and your mind to do what you want done. That's simple.
And the suggestion that I want to give is that if you could have solved your problem by now, you would have. You'd already have the results. You're not meant to solve it on your own. I was talking to a nurse a couple of weeks back, and she's like, why am I still having a challenge with this? And I said, well, if someone were to come into your emergency room, would you look at them and go, why are you having a challenge with this broken leg? You should have been able to watch a YouTube video and taken some duct tape and a couple of sticks out of the backyard and splinted it. No, we are meant to work with others to assist us because they can see in you what you cannot see as far as your brilliance and your magnificence. And that's what they want to help bring out for you. So, Eric, if someone wanted to reach out to you for their magnificence, how are they going to contact you?
Well, all of my contact information is on my website, and that is imagerations.llc.com. And that's all one word. Image is in how we view ourselves. Relations, like we're going to have a better relationship with ourselves, and then llc.com. Or my cell phone number is 314-583-7075.
And Drew, if someone wanted to reach out to you for their brilliance to be turned on even brighter.
DrewDawnFerguson.com is our website. Success@DrewDawnFerguson.com is email. And my direct line is 636-866-7864. Have a thing for sixes.
And then lastly, what I want to offer is if you want to experience what a lighter level of hypnosis might feel like, to see if it's a good fit for you, go to DrewDawnFerguson.com and claim your free hypnosis audio. Right now we have Transformation, because it's time for you to give up being the caterpillar and become the beautiful butterfly you are always destined to be. And so you can download that free hypnosis audio and see how it works for you to begin to get some relief. It won't give you the resolution. You've got to work with one of these brilliant minds that are here to be able to do that, but it'll begin to give you the foundation. DrewDawnFerguson.com. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming today and helping others be their very best. If you want to hang on, I'm going to stop the live stream and then we can talk for a couple of minutes afterwards. And if you guys ever want insight on what that's like, then just reach out and we'll make you part of our group. Okay. So until we get together again, for the audience, blessings on your brilliance. If you haven't noticed here lately, the world's getting pretty dark. It needs your light more than ever. It's time for you to shine even brighter than ever before.